Hi. I didn't know you were there. My bad. Did you miss me? Because I've been gone for a while. I got a job. I got a job and I suddenly was like, you know, in the real world, which kind of prevented me from like having actual free time. But I'm kind of back. I'm gonna try to be back at least, but I don't know how things are gonna progress. Now, as you can tell, because I got a job, um, I don't have much time, so my hair is actually still wet because I just came out from the shower. But that's okay. I think you won't mind. I think you won't mind, especially with the interesting topic that we have to talk about today. Now, here we have the pen for this edition, okay? It's a very mismatched pen. I think the color the color is very funny. Dark blue, happy day. Dark blue, happy day. We love that. We actually do. We love that. Okay. So the topic of today's video is going to be something that I've been thinking about a lot because, as you know, drum roll please, I'm not gonna add it because that's strained to my ears, but I'm translating a book. I'm translating Frankenstein. Now that is almost like finished. I finished translating the book, and the next steps were basically just like a correction, like the editors going in, blah blah blah. Loved it, loved the experience. It was amazing, and I recommend it to absolutely anyone who can translate a video, who is starting translation and wants to do it. Go ahead, queen. It's amazing, just magnificent. What can I say? I really did enjoy it. But in any case, when you translate a book, sometimes well, not sometimes, I think all of the times, you obviously have to read the book like 1,000 times. First time you read it through, second time you're translating, you read through, then you have to read through the editors, then you have to read through the correctors to see if everything aligns with what you had in mind for the scenes. So you basically know this book like upwards, backwards, right, left, you know everything about it. What I find the most interesting about this book, and especially the way that I was translating the book, because it was an adaptation of sorts, was the fact that the characters, although they weren't, explicitly written as characters from the LGBT, they can be portrayed, they can be seen as characters that belong to the community. Now, I'm gonna start by the very most obvious one, which is the creature. So, without further ado, here's my character introduction to Frankenstein from someone who has translated the book, okay? Yoo-hoo! Now, first character, we're just gonna put a very pretty picture from the newest Netflix movie, which Jacob Elordi played him. Beautiful. The creature. Now, the creature, I think, is what defines Frankenstein, obviously, because that is the main subject. Now, the creation of said creature is what starts the actual storyline, is what actually begins everything, what starts the main protagonist, which is not the creature, it's Victor Frankenstein, has the name. The creature, if you have never read Frankenstein, please, like, go watch it, go read it before watching this, because it's going to be full of spoilers, okay? Gonna give you 2 seconds to scroll away. Okay, you're done? Thank you. Good to see you came back. Anyway, I'm just gonna be giving spoilers left and right, unfortunately. The creature is, his name is just like, not a name. He doesn't have a name. But Victor Frankenstein is the creator of the creature, another character that we will speak of later. Now, why do I say that the creature is like the main parallel to the community in the book? The creature is basically trying to find his place in the world. And I'm gonna say his because usually they portray him as a male. And in the book, it's very clear that he is a male creature, because in the later part of the book, he asks his creator, so Victor Frankenstein, for a counterpart, which is a female. And since we have already spoken about how it's not inherently LGBT, we can understand that this is probably a straight relationship that he wants to enter, so there we go. Anyway, the creature probably aligns a lot with the views and the life that a lot of trans people or people from the community in general have led, because he's mainly trying to find his way navigating the world as someone who just differs from everybody else. He sees the world through a lens that is so beautiful because he's seeing the world for the first time. When you first start reading the POV from the creature in the book, which is the volume number 2, it's just so magical. He speaks about the birds just singing and him trying to figure out who made those noises. Him actually realizing that he could see and what he was seeing, which was a forest. The way he describes all of these actions and discoveries was beautiful. It's like seeing a person that just gains consciousness for the first time. And I think it's written beautifully. Mary Shelley, which is the author, fantastic job. And she was only 19. Can you believe that? I can't obviously, but well, continuing on this topic, the creature basically has to learn the world through hiding himself. He learns languages and he's able to communicate, sure, but he learns it not by speaking, not by being social with other people, but by having to hide himself all the time because people run away and hide from him, you know? And I think this is a very, I don't know, I have never actually, thank God, faced any sort of discrimination for my sexuality or my gender orientation, which I'm really thankful for, like I said, but I know that a lot of my friends have, and I know that the way that they describe it feels very similar to the way that the creature speaks about just wanting to talk to a human. He yearns, he yearns to have a companion. He yearns to have a friendship, someone who he can talk to, who he can be himself with. And unfortunately for him, people just cannot get past that exterior barrier. That's why I kind of equated his relationship with the world one of the one trans people have the most, because I think a lot of people who are probably uneducated kind of run away from a presentation on the outside of a person that they don't understand or comprehend just because it doesn't fit into the binary of how things should be. So, that's kind of why I think that's the most queer representation that we have in the book. Now, let's move on to the very own Victor Frankenstein. This is Victor Frankenstein in the movie, played by my baby. Love him, genuinely love him. Anyway, Victor Frankenstein also has a shady past, let's just say. It's not really shady, but the way he has a friend, okay? He has a best friend. This is the most LGBT thing that I see on Victor. He speaks about his male friends in such a sus way. I know that it might be due to the way that friendships were described back then. Unfortunately, I did not live in that period, so I cannot tell you, but he really speaks about Henry Clerval with so much love. And, spoiler alert, Henry does die. I know, moment of silence. Henry does die in the end, towards the end of the book, but before that, it's already clear that Frankenstein loves Clerval, okay? He loves him. He's like, oh my god, this is my friend Clerval, my evenings were so much better when he was around, him and I, we go traveling together, everything's so much better, the way he sees the world is just so beautiful, so poetic, I love the way he does it, and he stood by my side, he's just so crazy, I love him. He speaks about Henry Clerval. I haven't actually counted, but I think, speaking about other people that are not the creature or himself, he spends most of the time. And he is actually engaged to someone who is Elizabeth Lavenza, who is his cousin, actually. But he loves her. I think it's more of a cousin love, but they have been, promised to be married since they were kids. So it's not like he could escape it or think about something else. He just thought, oh yes, I'm gonna marry Elizabeth and I'm just gonna still be friends with Clerval and have my life, but I'm still gonna have her in my life, which is a very queer situation, let's just say, you know? Because Elizabeth clearly cares about him and loves him as more than a cousin, a friend, someone you grew up with. She's interested in him as a person, as someone more than who he has been up until now. And when they actually do get married, she's like excited. She's like, oh my god, you're gonna be my husband. And he's like, yeah, let's get this over with. So Victor, you're sus. You're on thin ice. I know that bisexual flag at least belongs to you. But yes, he speaks very dearly about his little Henrik Larval. Now, let me recap a little bit, go back a bit, because Victor is a very curious person. He's like George the Curious Monkey or something like that. I don't really know the name in English, but he's very curious. He's a very curious individual. And at first, he's not that into the sciences, but then when he's on holiday, he suddenly finds a book about alchemy. Mind you, in this century, when the book was written, alchemy was already like classified as a fantasy science, mystery, whatever. It was most definitely not a science, okay? People didn't believe in alchemy. But he was like, oh my goodness, how has nobody ever told me that you can transmutate a metal into iron? Nobody ever told me. Let me read all of the biography on this dude. And he started reading about Cornelius Agrippa, Paracelsus, and a bunch of people who are basically just like storytellers, or people who maybe thought about the foundations that the science were built on, but they didn't actually do any scientific discoveries. So he kind of was just like running on dreams, to be quite honest with you. Then he decides to move to university. Before that, his mother passes away. He's kind of sad, but he's not like, oh my god, I'm just gonna stop my life and stay here with my family so we can be together. He's like, when can I leave? Kind of want to go to uni. So he goes to uni. He's like, oh my god, I'm gonna miss Henry. I'm gonna miss my family, sure, but I'm gonna miss Henry so much. Like, he should have been, coming with me. Whatever. Okay, Victor, I see you. When he gets to university, he meets with two professors. These two professors are very, very nice. One of them he doesn't like too much, the other one he does, and the one he does, he listens to. And he's like, dude, you have been reading things that were like written like 1,000 years ago. You should probably read this. And he slips a list of like books and stuff that are more updated, which now would be outdated, but and he starts reading. He's like, what is this sorcery? Are you telling me that I cannot actually do alchemy? And he starts obsessing with bringing alchemy to regular science. Like, he has these ideals of the people who wrote these books that he first learned, but he has the knowledge of the modern scientist, and he combines them, and he like basically digs up body parts and stuff to create the creature, which is like the part that all of the movies sort of get right. Because I have to say, the Netflix adaptation, although it is an adaptation and they said it's an adaptation, it's like not very true to the main story. It's really not. It's still good. It's a very good visual piece, sure, but it's not that good. I mean, it's good. It's just, if you have read the book and you are looking for book accuracy, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it. Sorry. But and it's a big, sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, so basically one day he's like, oh my god, I finally have all the pieces, I'm gonna create the creature. And he creates the creature. And when the creature actually says, hi Victor, he doesn't say that, he's just like, But when they finally wake up and Victor's like, oh my fucking god, I actually did it. He's like euphoric for a moment. He's like, fuck yeah. And then he's like, oh fuck, he's so ugly. Oh, I created him to be like stronger than me and like taller than me, but he has like so many scars. Like, I wonder where that comes from. It's not like I staged 400 body parts together to create him. No, Victor, you and I, you know what, whatever. That was his baby. That was supposed to be his creature. He was supposed to be excited, but he was just like running away in fear. Fun fact, when he ran away in fear, what he came back to well, he spent the night basically in a courtyard, kind of like praying that the creature wouldn't find him. And when he finally's like, yeah, let me get out of here, let me like run away, when they finally open the courtyard doors, he's like running away. He suddenly sees like a car. He's like, Henry. Need I say more? But he finds Henry, and Henry basically is there for him because he goes into a madness frenzy. He's like, he cannot believe that he actually did it, and he cannot believe that he was actually so ugly that he couldn't even look at him. He was struggling. Bro was actually genuinely struggling, and that's crazy. All right, and then after all of this happens, and Henry basically nurtures him back to health, he didn't move an inch from the bed where Victor was. And Victor is like so thankful. He realizes that Henry was there for him. He's like, yes, like I know that he was there for me, and I don't think I could ever repay him. I don't think many men would have done what he did for me. We know. We know. We know. Anything you want to tell us, Victor? Go ahead. Okay, I'll hold your hand. Anyway, quite clearly. But then everything keeps going. He's like paranoid that the creature's gonna kill him for some reason, and some things happen, blah blah blah. He like, when he's like finally okay to travel back to his family after 6 years of like being in this frenzy creating the creature, and then recuperating from his illness because of the creature, he decides to come back. And the day that he's like, yep, I received a letter from my father saying that I can go back, that he's gonna pay for the carriage or whatever, the letter actually says that his brother William, who was the youngest, because he has a middle brother who's called Ernest, then William, and then his cousin who also lives with them, who has been raised as their sister, who is called Elizabeth, which we mentioned earlier. Okay, so William, my poor baby, he died. Okay, unfortunately he died, and he was killed. He had been wearing like a portrait of his mom in the neck, and the monster, the creature, unfortunately was like, oh my god, that's a pretty necklace, give it to me. That's a pretty lady in the necklace, give it to me. And he was just kind of, you know. And William was a child who was naturally scared of the creature, who looked a little bit different than everybody else. There were no trusted adults to tell him, it's okay, sweetie, it's just a creature. But they would have probably been scared too. He basically just like rips it off, and then he's like, don't run away, and strangles him to death. And then to rid himself of all blame, he puts the little miniature portrait around the neck of the kid into one of the house servants, into her skirt. Now, that was very clever of my boy, the creature. It was very, very clever. But it results on a lot of tragedy. And unfortunately, that's not the end of it. That's just the beginning. So Victor naturally goes back home with Henry. He's like, make haste, we must get the carriage. And, you know, they go back to Geneva. Because they're from Switzerland, he went to Ingolstadt, Germany, to university. Okay, so when he gets back, his dad's like, oh my god, I cannot believe who killed him. Like, they discovered the portrait that Elizabeth said that she had given him, and Elizabeth is like feeling guilty because he's like, oh my god, maybe if I hadn't given him the little necklace, he would still be alive. Unfortunately, probably not. So they go on to have a trial for this girl whose name is Justine, and she's like, oh my goodness, please help me. And Victor knows, like, on his like insides, he knows that it was the creature. My goodness. This is Justine, by the way. This is Elizabeth, which is Mia Goth, my girlie. And basically, Justine is found guilty because she's like also suffering from madness, which is apparently a very common thing in that century. I don't know what to tell you, ask Mary. But but she's like insane. She had like a fever for 3 days after she found the body of the child, obviously. They found her guilty, and then her last wish is to see Elizabeth And Elizabeth's like, I cannot go alone. Like, please come with me, Victor. I need you there. Because she's in love with Victor. Okay? She's in love with Victor. So she's obviously like, you're my rock. Like, I need you. So they go together. They go to the cell. And Justine basically says, like, I don't know what happened. I did not kill him. I passed away because I was so tired from looking for the kid all night because he disappeared. Nobody knew where he was. And she was looking for him all night. He went into a place where the animals sleep. I don't remember the word. But she went in there, she fell asleep, and then when she woke up, she just was crazy. She went back home. And then the servants were, like, putting her clothes away, and they felt something in one of the pockets. The miniature. And they couldn't keep it to themselves, obviously, because that meant that she had done the murder. So they went and basically told the other people that, like, oh my goodness, like, she did. And that's how we ended where we ended. And Elizabeth's like, oh my god, I forgive you. Like, I genuinely forgive you because that was not you. That was just not you, okay? You didn't do this. Thank you for telling me, but I really wish that you would have defended yourself in the court so that the people who actually killed my brother, my baby brother, would, you know, be prosecuted in the law. And Victor's like freaking out because he's like, oh my god, she really didn't do it. Like, I knew that she didn't, but like, she's confessing that she didn't do it, so I know who must have been. You guessed it. He suspects the creature. He's like, he's coming for me. Oh my goodness, he killed my little brother. He's going mad. Understandable, though. Okay, so when all of this has passed and Justine dies, there's a lot of death. I'm so sorry. There really is a lot of death. When she eventually does die, they have to, you know, the father of Victor's father, Mr. Frankenstein, basically says that, you know, he's just gonna, you know, let's go somewhere else where we can get some fresh air. Now I'm gonna pause here because I have mentioned Victor's father, but I briefly spoke about his mother, and she's actually a very important character in the book. So let me tell you about her. Victor's parents' story is actually very cool because Victor's like dad was always like kind of rich, well set in society, and he had a friend called Beaufort. Now, if you have watched the Netflix movie, you know Beaufort. And you know that Mia Goth plays both Victor's mom and Victor's, well, alleged love interest, which is Mia Goth. Well, Elizabeth, in this case. So basically what happens here is that Caroline Beaufort, who was Frankenstein's mom, her dad suddenly like gets indebted and they have to go live in poverty, okay? And this her father was friends with Frankenstein's dad, so Mr. Frankenstein, let's just call him that. And he goes to check on them because he hasn't heard from his friend, and he goes to see him like dead, like basically just like dying. And he sees, well, Caroline Beaufort there, and he's like, wait, you're kind of pretty, like, should I marry you? And they get married. And because that way he could like provide for her, but also he kind of fell in love with her. Well, he had a picture made of the scene where Caroline Beaufort is unfortunately just like hugging her father goodbye. And that is mentioned in Frankenstein because Victor waits in the library, and that's like hanging in the library, which is kind of an odd thing, okay? But yeah, apparently Mrs. Beaufort, or Mrs. Frankenstein from now on, basically did a lot of good for that family. She was the glue, she was what kept them all together. She was a very dear and caring mother to Elizabeth, and she told Victor and Elizabeth that the last thing that she wanted to do before she died was just to see them married. So obviously Victor was like, I'll comply, mother, because that's your dying wish. But Victor is sus, you know? Whatever, we move. Because we love Sussy Man. Oh, wow, yes, we do. Yes, we do. So we were in the part where he, okay, so he goes back to the mountains, and they're, like, chilling, whatever, and Victor says, like, oh my god, I need some fresh air by myself, like, I feel trapped with my family here. And so he goes by himself on a little walk, on a little hike, and he sees the creature. Now that's when volume 2 starts, and that's when the creature basically tell us how he learned French, which is the languages they're speaking in. And it was by watching a family who are the Lacey family, okay? He was basically just like spying with his little eye on their cabin, and he sees a whole multitude of like years of their life, and he yearns to be their friend, their companion, okay? He helps them around the farm because he's obviously stronger and more muscly than them, and he sees them be very sad and then be kind of like happier because Felix's wife Safi comes back. Well, they're not married technically, but that's his girl, you know, like they're together. Those I can tell you they're straight. But basically he has the opportunity to learn French because they are teaching Safi, who is from the Turk Empire. They teach her this other language, and they also teach her religion. They teach her a bunch of things. They teach her about the state of the world, so she knows a little bit more. And they also tell us a bit of backstory on, well, that family, but to be honest, it's not quite relevant to the plot, so we're just gonna kind of skip it. But then after this whole story, the creature's like moved, you know, obviously, and Victor's like, oh my god, like you're actually sentient. And he's kind of amazed at his own work. He's like, I kind of created this, that's crazy. And they're like, yeah, you kind of did. Could you create another one though? could you create another one? That's what the creature says. And Victor's like, how about no? How about no? It's like, and the creature's like, yes, please, like I promise, I'm gonna be so good. Like we're just gonna move out of like this continent. We're just gonna go to like another land. I don't know. I read about it in a book. We're just gonna move up there and we're gonna like be chill, and you're never gonna see us again. I swear. Like just like make another companion as ugly as me so that we can be together forever, and out of your hair. And Victor for 1 second is like, wait. Loki, I owe it to him because I created him and I abandoned him. Maybe if I do create someone else, he will leave me alone and he will finally like leave me alone. And he's like, yeah, finally a solution to my problem. But then he starts like critically thinking once he's like out of sight with the creature, and he actually promises that he will create another one for him. It gets to a point where he's just like thinking, but wait, what if they don't like each other? What if I make her and they don't like each other? Or like, what if I make her and she has not made these promises of like leaving me alone and going to live together to another country? What am I going to do then? Because then I will have unleashed basically a man and a woman from a species that can allegedly reproduce and create a whole bunch of other like little demons who are going to come and pursue me and basically make my life hell. And you know what? He was kind of paranoid. Like, be honest. You created them out of corpses. You created them out of human remains. I don't think they're going to be reproducing anytime soon. You know what? It was written in the 18th century. What did they know about reproduction? To be honest, they just probably thought it was like a miracle. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm kidding. But yeah. At some point, Victor's like, I think I'm gonna create him. Let me take Henry on a trip. Let me and Henry go on a trip together. Like, Henry and I, we're gonna go on a trip. So they go on a trip to England because apparently there was someone there who had made like a discovery that was gonna be like world breaking for Victor and his like new creature that he was gonna create. He still wasn't very convinced, but he was like, you know what? I just need 2 years. I'm gonna disconnect out of everything. Then when I come back, the creature will be gone and I will just marry Elizabeth and everything's gonna be great. And he chooses Clerval to go with him. All of this happened basically after an ultimatum that Elizabeth gave him, kind of. Elizabeth was like, hey, so like, do you still want to marry me? Because like, you're like 26. And I know that we're betrothed, but like, if you love another and that's why you're depressed, you can like, I don't know, marry that someone else. Like, No pressure, dude. Like, I see that you're miserable. Like, it's okay. You know, you can tell me. Um, and Victor's like, no, like, I love you, sure. Let's get married. After I go on this trip with Clerval for 2 years to say goodbye to my being single and like to take care of like business and stuff, manly things, you know. You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it. You're a girl. What do girls do? Anyway, you're my best friend. That was basically Victor. To my discerning eye, obviously. That's what I saw in that scene, you know? Eventually they do go on the trip. They basically describe how they see like all of the better part of England. They get on a boat, they see everything. And he's like so in love with the way Henry describes everything. Henry has been studying languages, so he knows like Persian and he knows 30 other languages. And basically Victor's like, oh, you're so lovely. The way he's like so poetic. Oh my goodness, the way he's just like seeing the world with such light while I'm here just like so depressed. I love him so much. And then at some point he's like, I can't let Clerval see me create a creature. Like what is he gonna think of me? You know, what is he gonna think of me? He's gonna think I'm crazy. And so basically he just says, let's get separated for a little bit. Not too long. And then we will meet again. And then that's when Victor actually plans on like making the creature. So he moves to like a little archipelago that has like 4 houses. He gets one of them, remodels it, and he gets to work. And then all of a sudden he says, oh my god, I actually don't have to do this. Like, I don't have to do this if I don't want to. And so the creature senses, his like spidey sense, he doesn't want to do it. Because obviously the creature had been following him for like the first time that he left Switzerland to go to UK. And he's like, oh, did you say that's a creature, by the way? The creature's like, what did you say? You're not gonna make someone who's like me? Like, that's crazy. Victor, you promised? And Victor's like, yeah, I know I promised, but like, I also break my promise. I'm your creator. I gave you life. You should be thankful. And he's like, you actually made my life miserable by giving it to me. Because nobody likes me and I cannot find my place in the world. Because everyone runs away from me because I'm so hideous. And that was your doing. And then Victor's like, yeah. No, you're right, but I can't do anything about it. Like you're right, but like I just don't want to do anything about it. Fire. Fire. It's in this point where everything starts kind of like going to, you know, hell, basically. Victor decides to like throw his work. He's just not gonna do anything. He says, I'm not afraid of this creature anymore. I'm really not. And he starts like throwing things in the ocean, blah blah blah. And one night he sees a storm approaching. He decides to go on his boat anyway. And he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw the last remaining parts of this thing that I'm doing in the ocean while the storm is on, so that people don't like never find these remains and never know how to create this creature. And he goes on his little boat, he throws the remains, and he gets lost in the storm. When he comes to, after like starving for days in the ocean, he arrives in Ireland. And you'd be like, oh my god, that's so cool. I know, I too want to go to Ireland. But basically, once he arrives in Ireland, he's like, I have some money, I'm gonna be able to buy some food, like I'm set, like I'm good. And he steps off the boat, he's like so happy. People are like, you're sus. Did you kill this man? Did you kill this man last night? Was it you? Because people saw you run away. Did you run away in a boat? Is this the boat that you run away with? And he's like confused, he's like, what? So they take him to like a lawyer's house, a magistrate house, Mr. Kirwin. Now, Mr. Kirwin does speak French, so he's able to understand whenever Frankenstein will be delirious later on, because bum bum bum, I already spoiled you before, but basically Henry Clerval dies. And the way that we discover this is by Victor just coming to Ireland and being like accused of a murder that he did not commit because he was lost at sea. But he's unable to defend himself because the shock that overcomes him when he goes into that room to see the dead body, and it's Henry Clerval. Just lying there, dead. Now, you and me, we both know that the creature did it. He did it, okay? The creature does feel really bad for actually killing another human, because the first one, he didn't really understand that he was killing him. He was just like holding him up and then suddenly like, you know. But he does understand that he killed Henry this time, and he wanted to do it. He wanted to hurt Victor. But what can you do? So basically he goes insane again. He's this time in an Irish prison, going insane, going mad, no sunlight, no bars, a nurse that doesn't really want to be nursing him at all. And he only recovers like a little bit of like his mind and his psyche when his dad comes to see him. And his dad's like, son, I know you didn't do this. And he's like, yeah, I really did not do this. I really did not do this. And they basically get him absolved, blah, blah, blah. And when they're finally back home, he's like, I'm so sorry that this happened. Do you still want to marry Elizabeth? And this is when he remembers that the creature told him something in his little house in the archipelago before he knew that Henry Clerval was dead. He was going to be with him in this wedding night. And he was like, oh my God. So he's just going to kill me on my wedding night. So like, if I marry Elizabeth and I stole this marriage, I'm just going to be stalling my own death and an inevitable fight that's going to break out between us two. Well, I would like to say that that's what happened, unfortunately, dear listener, reader, whatever you're doing with this information. That's not what happens. That's not what happens. So Victor decides, you know what, I'm tired of being like always paranoid that he's just gonna come for me and kill me. If he wanted to be with me on my wedding night, he's gonna be here. Like right now, like I'm moving the date like to right now. And he took like 2 weeks. And it was basically in those 2 weeks that he went, oh my goodness, I'm just ready. I have a pew pew stop here in my chest, like I'm ready. This is gonna be a fight to the death, and if I die, at least he will be wounded, and at least people are gonna see him probably like lynch him and kill him. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. And then he basically goes on his wedding night and he's like, hey Elizabeth, I'm gonna tell you everything, I swear. Like, I'm gonna tell you why I've been acting so weird, but you're gonna have to wait a little bit. Because you're just gonna have to wait a little bit, okay? Trust me. Tomorrow, after everything has happened, I'm gonna tell you everything, okay? I'm gonna clarify everything, I swear. And Elizabeth's like, you're acting weird, but like, okay, sure. And Elizabeth basically is like gloomy during the whole wedding day. She's like, something's gonna happen, I know it. Unfortunately, she was right. Something was gonna happen, and it happened to her. Because she died. How many death count? I think it's like 4, 5? 4 deaths. 5 if you count the mom. But wow, the night actually comes because he had been like wary. He was like all day looking around like he's gonna get me. He didn't get him. The night comes, he's like, oh, finally, like, I think he was just a coward. He's not gonna come. He goes, leaves Elizabeth in his bedroom, and he's gonna check around the house to make sure that everything's closed properly. He suddenly hears a blood-curdling scream coming from the bedroom. And when he enters the bedroom, the window is open, and Elizabeth is laying on the bed, dead. The creature, he sees him go, swim in the lake, just basically climb some rocks, and he's like, oh my God, I don't even have the energy right now to go after him. He killed my wife. He killed my friend. He killed absolutely every person that matters to me. How is this happening to me? And, you know, we're like, okay, sure, go queen. And then he just like goes talk to the police. He's like, somebody has to like do something about this because he killed my wife. He killed my best friend. I can tell you that it was him. He killed my brother. And the police like, dude, we already convicted someone for your brother and we already convicted someone for Henry. So what are you trying to tell me? Like, this is very suspicious. You're suddenly around everybody who dies. So what? It must be you. But the police are like, okay, sure, we'll hear you out because it's very suspicious that you would kill your wife, you know? So the police couldn't find him, obviously, and they come to like there's this like long period of time in which they're not really like talking or doing anything, but the creature kills his dad, the creature here kills his brother, basically every other person that matters to him, and he's suddenly alone in the world. And one day he decides, you know what, I don't have to do this. He has that realization a lot, by the way, if you have listened, but he decides, I'm gonna chase him and put an end to this life that I created because it's a hideous life and he doesn't really deserve to be alive. And he starts chasing the monster. And the monster is like, wait, I kind of want him to chase me because like I want to face him off, but I want him to be tired and I want him to feel the same desperation, jealousy, and rage that I felt all of this time while seeing him live the life that I want. And wow. Then a long chase basically starts in which the creature is like making sure that he's still alive enough to chase him. Like he leaves notes saying I went this way, or he leaves like a whole rabbit for him to cook. And Victor just is like infuriated. He's like, why is he fucking helping me? Like I don't understand what's going on. Like I just want to kill him and get this over with, but I'm never gonna do it. I'm never gonna reach him. They reach Russia on foot after many months. Okay, this started in Switzerland. He goes on a like one of the further north up like cities. He ransacks everything, and when Victor comes back, he's like, let me buy whatever whatever else you have left. And they both now have little sleighs with doggies on them and like food and stuff, and they go chasing each other until they get to a boat. Now in this boat, this is where the main story starts, because the person telling us the story is not Victor and it's not the creature. It's Robert Walton, who is just kind of inconsequential, I'm not gonna lie. But he's the one telling us these stories through the lens of letters or an account that is being told to Robert's sister Margaret. They get to Robert's boat, and the creature just like slays past, but unfortunately, kaboom, and Victor kind of like gets hurt. He's like, gets hurt, blah blah blah. And he asks, before getting on the boat, like, where are you heading? Because if you're going south, I'm not getting on your boat. I don't care if I die. But they're heading north, and he's like, okay, sure. He starts telling Walton all of this story that I have just told you, even the parts of the creature. And then one day he's like so weak that he cannot even like talk, speak, or anything. And it's like so sad, to be quite honest with you. But at some point, we have to also talk about Walton. This is Walton in the movie. But in the book, he speaks about Frankenstein in a way that's a little suspicious. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like when Victor talks about Henry, that's the way he speaks about Victor. He's like, such a refined character. I have never met a man like him, and I never thought I would. In the middle of this desolated desert of ice. Oh, I love him so. He's my best friend. My best friend. Nobody's as attractive as him. This was a real line that Robert really used describing Victor. He was like so interested in the way he spoke, the way he carried himself, the way he portrayed himself. Robert, I see you. I know what you are. You're safe here, okay? I know what you are. But basically the last day that Victor is alive, the creature finally reaches the boat too. And he's in the captain's room, which is Walton, and Walton and Victor are there, and he's like, oh my god, like Victor's gonna die, like he's so weak. And the creature comes in. He's like, you have shielded him here, blah blah blah. Victor actually breathes like this and dies. And the creature like, I know that he's here because he wanted revenge on me, because he wanted to kill me, and blah, 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 blah. I cannot accept that that he has died now, because what am I gonna do with all of this rage that I have inside me? And he starts basically just telling Walton that he feels like he was robbed of a life, and that he didn't really want to live his life this way, but this is the only way that he has. And then now he's stuck. he's gonna just burn himself now, try to end everything, because he has tried several times and nothing has worked. So he's just gonna try to burn himself so that his ashes can spread and he can maybe see the world another way. Which is like such a sad way to like die. And Robert's like, you know what? I kind of promised Victor that I would kill you, but you're so scary. Like, get out of my boat. And that's the end. That's how it ends. We will never know what happened to the creature. It might be roaming among us. We'll have to ask Mary. Now, speaking of Mary Shelley, she's really cool. She's a really cool character. And now you'd be like, what do you mean? What do you mean she's cool? She really is cool, okay? She really is. She is rumored, well, not rumored, kind of confirmed to be bisexual due to some correspondence with her and her very, very close friend, Victor and Henry. They basically had a sexual relationship, and it was two girls. So that makes her a bisexual icon, because she was married, and I cannot, like, wake her up from the dead to ask her if she was just a lesbian undercover. But, you know, my girlie, she was part of the LGBTQ, hence why I think we can all kind of, like, look to the story and be like, there's something queer here. And I think that's the part that is kind of, like, queer here. See what I did there? I'm so good at this. But yeah, this has been kind of like not a character analysis, but a book retelling. But to be honest, I really love watching this kind of videos, so I hope you enjoy it. I kind of just like maybe took inspiration. I think I did. 100% I did. Took inspiration from Shitty Book Club. I love her book reviews. They're so good, but I never have enough patience to like actually read a book in this depth without translating it. So maybe I should translate more books. You let me know. Now, if you like this video, just let me know in the comments below, because I enjoyed making this video quite a lot. If you cannot tell, my voice is like pretty much gone. I have had to stop recording like 1,000 times because my throat actually hurts. But we're good, you know. I hope this video was great for you too, and I hope you like it. If you did, leave a like, remember to subscribe, because I will make more videos, obviously. And I don't know, thank you so much for listening to me yap about Frankenstein, and I hope you're here for the next one. Bye bye.